Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So day 3 of the RNC in the books. Donald Trump tonight is going to be giving his acceptance speech for the nomination. But on a side note, we have to analyze some recent polling data, some recent developments in the head-to-head presidential race. While the Republicans are more united than ever behind Donald Trump, Democrats are still unsure what to do with the top of their ticket, and we have 3.5 months before the election. We got 2 months before early ballots go out. Early voting is going to be starting in some states. It's a big mess the Democrats have put themselves in. But you look at these Emerson polls. You have polls released from Insider Advantage, polls released from Emerson, the highly respected Emerson College. They have Donald Trump up by 7. They have Trump up by 6 in Georgia, 7 in Arizona, by the way. Virginia, Trump has a 2-point lead, a 3-point lead in Michigan, a 5-point lead in Nevada, and Insider Advantage is Trump up there by 7. North Carolina, Trump up by 7 in Emerson. Trump up in Emerson by 5 in Pennsylvania. Insider Advantage has Trump up by 4. Trump in Wisconsin, he's up by 5 in Emerson, and he's up by more in most states in the 5-way race with Kennedy and Stein and Cornel West in the mix. But you look at this, and it's just astounding how well Donald Trump is doing at this stage in the game. And in terms of the theories that Biden will step down and he'll be replaced by Kamala Harris, it's becoming maybe increasingly more likely. He has apparently contracted COVID the day that he said that it would take like a health risk to drop out. But some could say, well, he's just going to use that as an excuse to kind of isolate himself from the media for a couple weeks just so it takes a little bit of heat off of him, and then they'll move up the nomination process, and then they'll try to nominate him early, and they'll use the Ohio ruling as an excuse despite the fact that Ohio changed their law. It's just shameless gaslighting. But nonetheless, these polls are really shaping up to be good for Donald Trump. And you talk about the head-to-head polling. Nationally, Trump went up in Emerson since the incident in Butler, Pennsylvania. He also went up in Morning Consult, his largest lead from what I believe that we've ever seen in Morning Consult. In their tracking poll, he leads by 4% in the popular vote. Joe Biden below 45% as an incumbent president. That's not really where you want to be, especially given how close we are to Election Day. You know, this is not a year or 2 years out. This is, a few months away from people actually starting to vote, not even. But you talk about what's going on behind the scenes. You have NBC News. They're reporting the Democrats are in shambles. There's now a palpable sense that the ground is shifted underneath President Biden and that his political world is collapsing, with a person close to him saying, we are close to the end. So they feel like the walls are closing in. Biden, he's defiant. He still doesn't really want to step down. He's kind of like Hitler in the bunker in that one, infamous scene from Downfall, where he's basically got a few loyalists surrounding him and he's being angry and he's throwing a temper tantrum. Everybody's seen that meme from those like rants where they, change the subtitles and they make it like a meme of him ranting about something. It's basically the position Biden's in right here, right now, and we're a few months away from the election. But furthermore, it was reported that Biden really probably wouldn't be able to step down so long as many power players in the party like Obama, Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, etc. were on his side. But apparently Obama has said that Biden needs to seriously consider the viability of his candidacy. And this comes at a time where Chuck Schumer told Biden what the Senate colleagues believe about the election, and top Democrats are saying Biden might drop out this weekend, which is very, very interesting. We don't know if that would mean he'd resign his post as president or what that would entail, or he would just drop out. But either way, they're going to have somebody as their nominee that received 0 votes in the primary. 0 votes. Kamala Harris, whoever it may be, but it's likely going to be Kamala Harris. They can't really leapfrog the vice president. And even if they could feasibly do it. There's a lot of people that don't want to bear the negative aspects of the past 4 years of this administration. They would rather wait until 2028 when Trump would have served 4 years and they could just kind of run on change from that point because it would be more politically expedient for them to do so. I don't really know who Kamala would put as her vice president, probably some white guy. But either way, I don't think it's really going to make that much of an impact. Kamala Harris is polling worse than Biden, which is really saying something. But I want to really focus on this, and that is that Virginia, Donald Trump has taken the lead. We talk about Arizona. That domino fell a long time ago. Same thing with Nevada, North Carolina, Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. These states are shaping up to be solidly in the Trump column, and these are states that routinely have overestimated Democrats running against Trump if you look at 2016 or 2020. But Trump is up by 3.4 in Wisconsin. In Michigan, he leads by 1.6. But still, Pennsylvania, the biggest prize of all the swing states, Trump leads by 4.5%. That's outside of the margin of error. I mean, this is Biden's apparent home turf. I don't really think that it's looking too good for Biden, especially because, Trump and the whole incident took place in Pennsylvania. Probably, if anything, it gives Trump a lot more sympathy, a lot more local media coverage there. But either way, all those dominoes fell. But you hear about the Rust Belt. Let's talk about Virginia. I mean, this is a state that Joe Biden won by 10.1 percentage points in 2020. And Donald Trump lost it by around 5 points in 2016, where there were more third-party candidates in the mix. But even 2012, Romney lost it by 4, McCain lost it by like 5 to 6. And you'd have to go all the way back to 2004 to find a Republican that won the state of Virginia in George W. Bush's reelection bid. It used to be a solid red state. That changed, but you're seeing a shift. And that's with Donald Trump, somebody who's hostile to that Northern Virginia swamp. He's able to go out there and he's beating Biden in the polls. Now, I'm not saying that even if Biden's the nominee or whoever the nominee is, that Trump is guaranteed to win the state of Virginia. I'm not saying that. But, I mean, these are polls that are before the RNC, and these are polls, even some of them were before the debate, like the Fox News poll had Trump and Biden tied at the debate. People are saying, well, the debate is the reason why Trump is leading. Like, no, Trump already was the favorite. Anyone saying otherwise is gaslighting. He's been the favorite for probably, ever since last fall. And there's always the question of, something could happen or Trump could implode. And that's what the liberal media has wanted to kind of wish cast into reality. But the opposite has been true. Trump is measured. He's on message. He's disciplined, kind of like the last few weeks of his 2016 campaign, which were really strong and helped carry him to victory and helped gain some independent voters. That's the entire Trump we've seen this election cycle. He's not a chaotic figure. At least a chaotic bad figure. There's a lot of chaos going on, but Biden is like the chaos candidate in a way because of just how incompetent he is, and people really realize it. And Trump, if anything, is gaining those suburban independent voters. And if they replace Biden with Kamala, if anything, it gets worse for them. But you look at the election map as it stands today, Donald Trump against Joe Biden. Donald Trump would win 356, and this is post-debate polls only. Now, I don't think Trump's going to win New Jersey. He might not win New Hampshire or Minnesota or Virginia. But if we're talking about the polls we've seen and the vibes we've seen and the changes since the debate, if you put them on the electoral map, this is the election map. 356 for Trump. That's a generational victory. Democrats probably at that point don't win any of these Senate seats in states that Trump is going to win, just based off of how these down ballot races typically go. They would face a generational loss, and it's possible it could get worse for them if they put Kamala Harris in there. I feel like Kamala's worse than Biden in the Rust Belt. She wouldn't really flip any of the Sun Belt states. She might raise like black female enthusiasm in Georgia, but I don't think it's really going to be that much to really say it's enough. And then you talk about the Northeast, you talk about, the Mid-Atlantic, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and then Delaware, Biden's home state, possibly could become in play. It's a disaster. that the Democrats really have on their hands. They're just button mashing at this point, whether they keep Biden in there or whether they try to get Biden out of there. But you look at what the polls are showing, 356 electoral votes for Donald Trump. You know, you show somebody this map even 6 months ago, they'd laugh at you. I would laugh at it. And I'm not saying that this is going to be the final map, but the fact that this is what the polls are showing a few months before the election, it would take a lot to go wrong for Donald Trump to lose this election, regardless of whoever his opponent is going to be. And I think that J.D. Vance is his VP. Just the speech last night that we saw, I think it's a positive thing. I think that you talk about the Rust Belt states, that's who that speech really resonates with. You talk about Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Minnesota to an extent. Like, that's kind of the target audience of that speech. Whether people thought it was like not charismatic enough or whatever, I think most people liked it. Trump is the one that's the charismatic one. He's the one that brings the fire. Vance is a really good asset to the ticket, and he complements Trump very well, and that's kind of the role of the VP, but also he's not a pushover. He checks all the boxes. You love to see it. It's a winning ticket. Democrats don't even know who their top of the ticket's going to be, or who the second in command, the VP to Biden or Kamala Harris is going to be. Obviously, they stick with Biden. It's going to still be Harris. But if Harris gets the top of the ticket, they have to sort through VPs. Imagine if it's Pete Buttigieg that they put on the ticket. Oh, that could be a total disaster. He pulled the weakest out of any of the Democrats in the general election back in 2020. So we'll really have to see how that shakes out. But anyways, guys, make sure you guys like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle, out.